Hello everyone, it's Professor Fernandez and I'm here to show you the answers to this particular discussion board. This one actually looks like it stumped a bunch of you, so I wanted to go ahead and go through this with you. Just a reminder that this was your lesson for here, and it looks like some of you didn't really press play to get the information from the lesson. So you actually have me talking on this. So just remember, I don't think you'll have very many PowerPoints here, but you're going to want to press play so you can hear the whole entire lesson. So let's go ahead and read our instructions here. So download the essay sample below, look for and highlight the following items. Your essay should look like something like this. And this link takes you through an example of what it should look like. You know that in the introduction paragraph, you need to highlight the hook in green. The background in the intro paragraph is in blue and the thesis is in yellow. Then you'll choose one of the body paragraphs, not two, but one of them, and you will mark the topic sentence pink, the transitional phrase, any color you would like, the supporting sentences, any color you'd like, and the point sentences, which usually is the end sentences, any color you'd like. All right, so I've already pre-downloaded the wonderful essay by Johnny Appleseed, and this is the reality of manipulation, he called this. So let's look at this particular paragraph, which is your intro paragraph. As per the lesson, there are three things you're going to want in your paragraph. You're going to want the hook. You're going to want a little bit of background, give some context to what you're talking about, and then you're going to want the thesis. So let's go back here and see that our hook is green, the background is blue, and the thesis is yellow. So it should be in this order: green, blue, yellow. All right, so green, blue, yellow. Yes. Okay, so what is the hook? Let's read the first sentence. Memory is an inevitable aspect of humanity as it is used relentlessly throughout our life. All right, so this kind of gives us an overview of what this essay is about. It's telling us, it's hooking the reader in and saying, this is what this is about. This is what we're going to talk about here, right? And so we know that hooks are green. So we're going to highlight that and make it a green highlight. Okay, so we should be looking out next for the background. So whether our memory is being used to recall what time our next meeting is or recognizing the cashier from the supermarket, we innately trust our own memory and its accuracy. So it gives us a little bit more information about what's going on. So we go from memory as a big old thing to a smaller thing, recalling when we actually use our memory and how we sometimes trust it and the accuracy of it. So we know that that is blue, so we're going to make that blue. Yes, blue. So that means this should be the thesis. Let's look at it. However, how reliable is your memory? By Elizabeth Loftus challenges the accuracy and integrity of our memories and argues why memory cannot be trusted as a perfect source of information. So a thesis does a couple of things. It tells you what it's about, the stance that the paper is taking, like what is not so much the opinion, but so much as the stance and the claim that it's making and why it's making it. So this is telling us that he's going to talk about this video here, what it is about, and then tells us why memory cannot be trusted as a perfect source of information. So that sounds like a thesis to me. We'll put that there. So we now learn that when we write our intro paragraphs, you will need a hook, some background information, and your thesis. Now, not every paper is going to have a 3-paragraph or 3-sentence paragraph. I actually find them kind of short, but you will have these sections. So maybe your green section will be 2 sentences, and maybe your blue section is going to be 3 sentences. Your yellow section should be no more than 2 sentences. Mostly 1 sentence for this particular class, okay? So let's get rid of this. All right. So we also know that we want to use one of the body paragraphs, and the topic sentence is pink. The transitional phrase is any color we'd like, and supporting sentences, any color we like, and the point sentences are any color we like. So I'm going to choose this third paragraph here. And I'm going to read the first top of this, right? I've always perceived memory to be an accurate and useful tool in my life. I have always had difficulty taking notes and creating a written record of information, and I have yet to pick up the skill of traditional studying. Due to these habits, I have heavily relied on my memory to succeed through my academic career. Since I've always used memory as my sole source of information and comprehension, I believed it to be reliable and efficient for an accurate recall of information. However, after listening to Loftus discuss the psychology behind memory and how it becomes unreliable, I'm beginning to think I need to readjust my habits. Loftus created some important arguments based on how stress and trauma can impact the accuracy of one's memory. After hearing her arguments, I can see that when I usually struggled on tests and assignments, that they were based on the recall information I was also dealing with stressful situations in my life at the time. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So let's summarize this a little bit. We know that this writer is talking about memory and how they've used memory to study. They haven't yet picked up the ideal or the skills of studying, and so instead of studying and developing those habits, they have used their memory to do so. And so we know that they have said this, but their mind is changing though, because after listening to Loftus, the person that was in the thesis, and discussed the psychology of memory and how it's unreliable, they're changing their minds and they're thinking they need to adjust their habits. So that's pretty much the summary of this, all right? So we know that the topic sentence is always the first sentence. Now, don't automatically highlight the first sentence as the topic sentence. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is think about, does this particular sentence say, this is what I'm going to talk about. This is the subject of what I'm going to talk about in this paragraph. After reading this paragraph, I believe so. This particular paragraph, let me delete that. This particular sentence is is kind of giving us a little view of what's going to be happening in this paragraph. So, yes. So this is a topic sentence. You put that in pink. All right. So what else do we have to highlight here? It looks like we want to do transitional phrases and supporting sentences. All right. So a transitional phrase takes it from one topic to another. Now, I'm going to warn you, just because there's a transitional phrase, it doesn't mean that the topic has changed. It just means that they used the phrase. Where it is important to understand and what is important for us in our learning and comprehension of an essay and how it works is that you have to have a transitional phrase and then the topic changes. Or there's a shift in the paragraph that goes from one thing to another. Is there a place where things are changing here? Yes, there is. Let me first point out probably one of the most obvious things here. You're probably thinking this is the transitional phrase, and it is not. It says, due to these habits, I have relied heavily on my memory to succeed through my academic career. So did we go from one topic to another? No, we didn't. We went from not understanding how to study and using your memory to concluding that, yeah, therefore I use my memory to succeed through my academic career. Nothing has changed. Let's go to another transition here. However, after listening to Loftus discuss the psychology behind memory and how it becomes unreliable, I'm beginning to think I need to readjust my habits. So, do you see how there's a shift? We go from, I have to use my memory to do things because I don't know how to study, to, I'm going to change my mind because I think I may really need to think about doing study habits here. This is a shift. Their mind is changing. They're changing their mind, or they're going from one topic to another. So I'm going to choose this as a transition, and I'm going to give it this color because we haven't used that color yet. This is a transitional sentence or phrase. So you don't want to highlight just the word however, you want to highlight the entire sentence. You see, the entire sentence is shifting to something else, right? And so we go on and continue talking about this. So what do we have left to highlight? Let's see. We highlighted the topic sentence, check. We've highlighted the transitional phrase, yes. Supporting sentence, okay. The supporting sentences, there's more than one. We can use whatever sentences we want. So, I'm sorry. Okay, back here. All right. So we want to look at the supporting sentences. And what supporting sentences are is, once the person changes their mind, they need to give us a reason why they're changing their mind. Or once they shift, they'll give us reasons why they're shifting their idea here. So let's look at these following sentences here and see if this writer is giving us a reason why they're beginning to think they need to adjust their habits. Let's see. Loveless created some important arguments based on how stress and trauma can impact the accuracy of one's memory. After hearing her arguments, I can see that when I usually struggled on tests and assignments that were all based on the recall of information, I was also dealing with stressful situations in my life at the time. This correlation between stress and memory accurately, I'm reading too fast, accurately opens the discussion about how much weight we should give to testimonies of witnesses and traumatized victims. While their testimonies are useful by giving them full faith in the accuracy of their story, we are allowing the accuracy caused by the trauma endured to impact the outcome of the situation. Okay, so right about here, this highlighted section, this writer is giving us a reason why they're changing their mind here. They're saying, all right, based on what this person said, I can see how memory is probably not the best thing to rely on, right? And so that sounds to me like they're supporting their idea of why they're changing their mind. So I'm going to choose a color because this is the supporting sentences. I'm going to go ahead and choose, I usually like light colors so you can see. So let me take this red. Okay. So we have this, and that makes it, this last sentence, the point sentence. And the point sentence is literally another word for like the conclusion of a paragraph, not the conclusion of the paper, but the conclusion of the paragraph. It sums up the opinion of the paragraph in one little sentence here. So let's read it. While their testimonies can be useful by giving them full faith in the accuracy of their story, we are allowing the inaccuracy caused by trauma endured to impact the outcome of the situation. So does that seem like a natural ending, like a natural conclusion to the topic sentence, the transitional sentence, the supporting sentence, and so then we're ending? Yes, it does. So let me highlight this in gray. And there you have it. So we have in order the topic sentence, which is always pink, and it's always the first sentence in a paragraph. We have the discussion of this. This is actually more supporting information, but really for the topic sentence. You can highlight this if you want to, but for this assignment, you didn't really have to. So this talks and expands the topic sentence here. It adds more depth. It adds more background information. And then we have a change. There's a change right here. We know this because we have the word however, and we have it going from one topic to another, right? Don't just rely on the transitional phrases. Transitional phrases mean nothing if there is no transition to something else. Just because the transitional phrase is there doesn't mean it's a transition. So we have this sentence here and we're transitioning from one idea to another. And then we're supporting that transition. We're supporting that idea that we're changing our mind to. And we have tied up that into a one sentence bow at the end, kind of concluding that idea. And so we know that when we're writing paragraphs here, we have to have a topic sentence, expand the topic sentence. We have to have a transition. We have to have supporting sentences, and we have to have a point sentence at the end. So we know this is the order things go in: green, blue, yellow. So as you're writing, if you want to revise your paper, one of the things you can do is do the highlight. If you can't actually highlight something and say this is the actual thesis and this makes sense, then you don't have a thesis. If you can't highlight the first sentence and say this sentence actually introduces what a concept I'm going to talk about in this paragraph, then you don't have it, right? So this is going to help us with our revisions of our papers. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how I can help.